Welcome back to Lost Legacies.
A Hidden City Book Company production.
I'm Sam.
I'm Matt.
There you go. I was gonna say I was you again because that's how we always start. Well, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to a brand new episode. We're here talking about a brand new movie. Before we get started, Matt, do we have anything that we wanted to go over?
Um,
Any news or
let's see.
anything?
Same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Buns and bullets in a couple weeks. We're planning on the first week of August. Yeah,
August.
of August. We're reading Kill All Wizards. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have it pulled up, so I don't remember the author's name. Um, but yeah, other than that, news-wise, um, I think that's it. Um, it's been a little bit since we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
What's new?
I don't know. Not much. Nothing
No?
much. Brand new season, Dimension 20 ended. Um,
Oh yeah. So what are your thoughts now post
yeah.
season?
Post City Council of Darkness. I liked it. It was good. I was
Nice.
unsure at first because they were doing the Vampire the Masquerade system,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I'm not a huge fan of that world.
Mm-hmm.
It feels too much. It feels a little too edgy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like they definitely were like maybe trying to play into that in like the first episode at least. But then like after a couple episodes they got, they got the ball rolling. They were more into like their brand of
Yeah.
play style and humor, so it was cool. Um, it does feel a little rushed, and it might just be because it's a shorter season. It's only 14 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they go for at least, I believe, like 22 or something, 20 or 22.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, there's some aspects that I'm like, this does feel a little rushed, but overall I enjoyed it. I really liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. I don't know if I'll ever get to it at this point. I'm so far behind. Um, yeah. Let's see. So the other night I watched a movie.
What'd you watch?
I watched one that I had been looking forward to for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think you watched it too.
Mm-hmm.
They Will Kill You.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Rad. How'd you like it?
Solid movie, man. I had an absolute blast.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what I had wanted from Ready or Not.
Yeah, I felt that.
So, I mean, they're two completely different movies though, so it's kind of hard to compare, but like the villains are essentially the same, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
My one critique about both of those films though is that they still it's like they don't understand, and this feels weird because I wasn't the artist making either of these movies, but it's like they
Sure.
don't understand what they are doing, you
Mm-hmm.
know? These are movies where the rich are evil, they're literally Satanists, uh uh and it's basically both movies could be summed up as kill the rich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um You have the added texture in Ready or Not with the families. She's the new bride coming into the new family. So that's there too. But essentially what the main premise is kill the rich. These are all really rich, bad people. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is they don't allow us to kill the rich, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and my big complaint about Ready or Not was one of everyone's favorite moments. Spoiler alert for Ready or Not.
Mm-hmm.
Three, two, one. All the bad guys just blow up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's done for shock value, but then you realize like, oh man, they didn't really get any kind of comeuppance. It's like I guess they're dead, but they didn't learn any kind of lesson of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like they got a few seconds where they got to panic and that was it. Same thing
Yeah.
with They Will Kill You. There's the rich are essentially immortals. So like the
Mm-hmm.
whole opening fight sequence was great because she's chopping off bodies, limbs, and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, I was like, wow, Tom Felton's already dead. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, but then they come back and I'm like, oh, so then the whole movie is her fighting these same people. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
So like the fight scenes were pretty cool, very visually stylized. But it's like it to me it loses the umph because we know these people are going to come back later in the movie anyway, you know.
Yeah.
It because you're rooting for her and her sister for their survival, so
Hmm.
it's not all for naught. But it's like the whole premise of this is kill the rich, and neither of these movies allow us to kill the rich. And I'm like, now I haven't seen the Ready or Not sequel yet.
Hmm.
Maybe they changed. I think they learned a lot of lessons because Abigail, I feel like, was a much stronger film, which came after.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to see what new lessons they took into the Ready or Not sequel.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Well,
man.
unsure because, Ready or Not 2, I know didn't necessarily do very well.
Mm,
Both I think box office wise and with, critics and fans. Cause, like, well, it's like, me
yeah.
going into our episode, I was like, yeah, like I'm all in, ready or not, it's great, it's a perfect movie,
Hmm.
and then after this watch and our discussion, it's like, oh no, like I do agree.
Hmm.
There were, that whole part, about like it is kill the
Yeah.
rich, but it's really only the servants, the maids and the driver dying, throughout the most
Yeah.
of it.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like the main thing is like, uh it's hard to critique a movie by what it doesn't do because it's like, well, that
right.
clearly isn't what they intended to do or what they wanted to do. But it's almost as if like they're holding themselves back. Like that's what I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. At least they will kill you. It really leans into like a lot of its inspirations,
Hmm.
super cheesy gore, And I'm
Hmm.
like, I appreciated that because right off the bat you realize what kind of movie you're getting into. Oh, and then like the needle drops too during those fight sequences. I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
and they use
Dead Man's Bones.
Dead Man's Bones. I was like, oh, it's such a cool way too when the way the music just like gently like fades in. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's cool. And
Hmm.
like it took me a second to realize it was Dead Man's Bones, but I'm like, nice.
Like I
Nice.
recognized the tune. I was like, do I know this song?
Yeah.
I absolutely know this song. I was like, oh, great. Ryan
Yeah.
Gosling still delivering,
Still delivery. Two movies in a row.
two movies
Yeah.
exactly. Um
Yeah.
no, I really dug They Will Kill You. I agree though. I think like I kind of took it as like a one, you kind of it's a weird double-edged sword because I feel like it loses the dramatic tension when you just make all of your villains, oh, we can physically regenerate, and we're
Yeah.
effectively unkillable. But I think it also does this thing where it's like, well, that just means that we get to like kill you over and over again. Like we just get to hack and slash you apart, which like
Yeah.
which could have been which I did enjoy, just on like the visual side of it. But I do
Hmm.
think that like character wise for me, I'm like, I don't know that it makes sense that like these rich people would then automatically just be like, yeah, we're immortal. Can't you see? It's like it's that thing of like, like, yeah, we're better than you because of this. Like
Hmm.
I I feel like if you had just changed it to where like they're panicked and they're like what's happening, like obviously like they know they're unkillable, but like this should be the first person that's ever done this to them before,
Yeah. I
there
wanted to
should
actually see some
be.
of that fear.
Yeah, like you had your badass moment of one,
Hmm.
like trying to gang up on Zazie Beats, and
Hmm.
then two, you get your other scary moment when you're all standing in the hall and like showing that like you're regenerating.
Yeah.
But then for my money, it's just like, but you shouldn't ever be comfortable with it. Like you shouldn't still in the third act like be smiling like, yeah, yeah, like we got you. No, 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 no. And it's
Well,
like that
yeah,
that's
and it's
like
like
that's just them the whole movie.
if you're gonna do that, that's when you have like all like when they call like all the reinforcements. I was like, okay, that's a cool moment to do it.
Hmm.
Um, like her character of Asia, right? That's her name.
Hmm.
She's not unstoppable. You know, she's not unkillable. So like I was kind of hoping for a again, here we're talking about the raid again, a raid style sequence where she's just fighting all of them down the hallway. But like, uh, if this movie with this style attempted it, I think it would work. But that's
Hmm.
not the route they went. They tried to ground her at least,
Yeah.
which makes sense for a protagonist in this situation. But my issue is that um, I we don't really get to kill like yeah we get to kill them and beat them up and stuff, but like there I guess none of the villains were scary, you
Yeah.
know? They were all just kind of goofy, and I'm like, I really wanted a threat here, you know?
Hmm.
So when you come out to that whole final climax, that's when things got scary. And I'm like, oh crap. And I'm
Yeah.
here like at 2 a.m. watching this sequence, and I'm like, oh God, okay, now this is getting satanic. Like this is different. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, but then that whole final fight scene with the pig heads on the body, like, oh, like, dude, this is so twisted, but
Hmm.
it's so cool the way it's shot visually and everything, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. So, I really dug it a lot.
Yeah, I did too. And like
Hmm.
I saw a lot of people, obviously there were the Ready or Not comparisons. Also
Right.
saw a lot of people like deriding this for being like, oh, it feels like very Quentin Tarantino. I'm like, how? Just because it's stylized violence? He's not the first one to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
like yeah, like stylized violence, badass woman with a blade, needle drops, like none of
Hmm.
this is,
Hmm.
inherent to just him.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
And
but
I gotta say, the two movies I saw this weekend
mhm.
feature two strong black female actresses with amazing hair.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, dude. Like, oh,
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm all here for it. Like at
yeah,
like at its worst, I guess they will kill you as just an action vehicle for Zazie Beetz, and I'm okay with that.
I'm okay
Like
with that.
like don't give me a sequel to this. I don't need one, but give me another
Yeah,
action movie with her, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
I think it was well done. Like, there's so many moments where the story stops and we do a flashback, and like it never slowed down the movie.
Hmm.
Like I was invested all the way, even with the villain characters. I'm like, who are just goofy, but like the married couple, I'm like, all right, I
Hmm.
like this. The cinematography was great. All the tunnel shots. There was a almost like I don't know what you want to call it, but like Old Boy, where you just have like you're on the side of the set, the camera's just filming
Yeah.
everything when they're crawling through the vents. I'm like very
Hmm.
kind of Wes Anderson,
Yeah, I was gonna
where
say it has that kind of like dollhouse kind of theater, kind of
yeah,
vibe to some of it.
I wanted more of that because there's so many moments like in the vents or whatever, the
Hmm.
little tunnels, and then there was a few hallway shots like that as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, just wild movie, highly recommend it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, that
Agreed.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And now shifting into another wild movie, the
Hmm.
movie of this episode. We're talking about 2025's One Battle After Another, written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Hmm.
All right, Matt. What'd you think of the movie?
All right. So we just finished talking about a movie where a bunch of rich people worshiping the devil was
Mm-hmm.
trying to kill our protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
Yet this is the movie that kept me awake at night. Like, this is the movie that scared me. I'm like, oh, dude. I was like on my edge, on my edge. I was on my edge the whole time.
Wow.
Better to say I
Okay.
was edging. I was edging the whole movie, Sam.
No, that's not what that means. No,
Last week
no,
it
no,
was
no.
Goody. This week it's edging.
Stop. Stop. We're
Um,
we're on some watch list now. Thanks a lot, Matt.
we already are, bro.
Oh, I guess that's true. But now we're on a different one.
Now we're on a different one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, this movie was nonstop intense, kind of hilarious at some points.
Mm,
Uh it did not have to be that freaking long, but
agreed.
it was great. I mean, really, my only complaint is the how long it was. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, like I really enjoyed this. I wanted to see this, but I wasn't really looking forward to it.
hmm.
And now that it's done, it's like, yeah, it's kind of confirmed. I'm glad I watched it, you know.
Yeah.
It was still a good time, It was just scary enough. It was just fun enough.
Mm.
I think all the acting was good. I mean, kind of in a way, Leonardo DiCaprio was kind of, I don't want to say the weakest link, but
I'll say it. I
his
think he was the weakest link.
well, but I mean, his character didn't really have a lot. I can't say this is a bad DiCaprio performance just because like there wasn't really much for him to do with this.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
he's kind of just like this blank. Uh, I don't want to say everyman, but he's just kind of like this blank character, like an
Hmm.
audience surrogate that kind of goes through and like literally every other character in the movie is more interesting. And I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, like okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, man, what a ride, ride.
What a ride. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of rides, that whole car chase at the end, where they're going through like the hills, like that was cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that.
I really like the way this movie uses the camera. So interesting, and
Hmm.
how the way it uses its wide shots is pretty cool.
Hmm.
But the way it uses its I don't know what you would call it, more like a close up or a POV, because there are moments specifically in the car scenes where you don't see what's around them. It's just
Hmm.
focused on the actors. And I kind of like that. It kind of gave this sense of claustrophobia.
Hmm.
And in that final car chase as well, most of the car chase we see is from we either are looking at the actors' faces or it's like the cameras on the dashboard.
Yeah.
So you see what the actors are seeing. It's very rare if you actually see a wide shot of what's going on.
Hmm.
What they use to kind of give the positioning of the characters is the rear view mirrors. So
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, you can see how far back they are. And I thought, that was all very cleverly done.
Hmm.
Uh, but none of it would work if it wasn't for the score. This
Hmm.
score, man, I don't know who did the score, but
Uh, Johnny Greenwood, I believe.
Johnny Greenwood, I feel like he was just improving the whole damn movie because like I don't even know if the score stopped. you
Yeah,
know?
it kind of feels like, well, yeah, I don't know. I know there was like a huge, oh, I guess that sequence at the end. I don't think there was a score. Was there?
The chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Or
pretty sure there
oh,
was.
okay. Okay.
My favorite part of the movie is that whole middle chunk where like they're doing the raids
Mm,
and Benicio del Toro's trying to get um him out of there. What's his name?
Bob.
Bob. He's trying to get Bob out of there, as well as like the other immigrants and stuff. And like that whole sequence, and then when they're running on the roof and stuff, I'm like, dude, this is intense, and it really feels like the city's on fire. I'm like,
Hmm.
holy crap, man. Uh, that was great. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree.
Hmm.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I came away with this almost at the outset, just like,
Hmm.
yeah, pretty much like almost from the start. Like there was something about I'm like, what's happening here? And then
Hmm.
through the rest of the movie, it was just me like trying to be like, okay, maybe it's gonna get good. Maybe it's gonna get good here. Maybe it gets good here, Which
Yeah.
isn't to say like I want to highlight. I love the performances. Uh, Chase Infinity,
Mm-hmm.
she's incredible.
Hmm.
I think she's a force to be reckoned with. I think we're gonna see a long career from her. Regina Hall like
Yeah.
steals like the scenes that she's in, especially in the latter half. I think Benicio del Toro was great in this
Hmm.
very small role that could have gone to like anybody. really,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that it's him, like he just adds something to it, you know, like he really just disappears
Yeah.
into, you know, Sensei Sergio. Um
Mm-hmm.
and sure, as much as I don't like him as a person, um I think Sean Penn did good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he
Mm-hmm.
at least he like embodies this like truly disgusting person inside out.
Yeah.
Um, you know, yeah, like the fact he's got like his little like funny little walk, like his little gait, and I'm just like, it's weird. Like like he feels like he feels like a weird like bastardized Yosemite Sam in
Mm.
like for kind of it. At least for me, like that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing. Like he's kind of like a Looney Tunes character, but like made real and terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, but yeah, I wasn't impressed by Leo. Leo's
Mm-hmm.
just doing, you know, Rick Dalton again, but worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's worse because it's exactly that. Like he's not written particularly well.
Mm-hmm.
There's really nothing for him to do in the whole
Mm-hmm.
movie. And yeah, it's like you said, like literally every other character is more interesting than him.
Mm-hmm.
So why aren't we watching any of them? Why like
Right.
why this guy? Why Bob, you know? And
Yeah.
I think for me it boils down to what this movie is trying to do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this movie so the movie is based off of a Thomas Pynchon book
Mm-hmm.
that is about freedom fighter freedom fighters and organizations, you know, that were causing rebellion during the Reagan era.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like loosely based on like true events, you know. So this movie is lightly adapted from that book. Uh and it just feels a little disingenuous to me because they never explicitly state like what this underground organization, the French
Mm-hmm.
75, they never explicitly state like what are you rebelling against? You know, what are you what's your stance? You know, your stance is just that like you're not going to tolerate, you know, oppressive states and we're going to blow up some banks, you know, we might kill some people, but you know, so it's a very like broad like we're against the American empire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the rest of the movie is just kind of like, oh, we're just going to use Lockjaw as this American military character. Like he has his own agenda. He doesn't necessarily care. Like yeah, it's cool if he takes out the rest of this, you know, organization.
Mm-hmm.
But he literally tells like his second in command to like make up a reason for me to go to this place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, oh, okay, cool. So then really like, yeah, as tense and as terrifying as it is to see these soldiers, you know, coming after, you know, these coming after immigrants and, you know, going into their homes and, you know, we have to shuffle everybody into like an underground tunnel and see them in the
Mm-hmm.
church. It's like all of that's just set dressing that never gets addressed again. Because that's not the story, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So it just like, for me, it just feels disingenuous. Like you're using real people's plight. You're using a very
Mm-hmm.
real, terrifying situation, you know, that isn't mentioned in the book. Like this is all Paul Thomas
Yeah.
Anderson is now adding all of this in because he didn't want this to feel like pinned down by anything to make it, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like his idea is removing it from an era, from a distinct era makes it more timely,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and timeless. But in my mind, I'm like, but you're just using it as as a backdrop for, you know, these unhinged characters running around, you know, and yeah, like when we have a character as nondescript as Bob, I'm like, well, I don't care. Like, I want Bob to get with his daughter because I want his daughter safe, not because
Mm-hmm.
I think Bob is a good character, not because I think Bob earns his place as a father. Like, that's the thing. Like, he starts off the movie kind of the same. He's revolutionary, but he kind of doesn't he doesn't share the same like depth of belief as all these other people,
Hmm.
seemingly. You know, Perfidia's grandmother even says as much as like, you look confused, you know, you
Hmm.
look like you're unsure of who you are. And that just kind of stays the whole movie. And
Yeah.
so then it's like, so it kind of pisses me off when, he's standing up to this, Mexican high schooler being like, "Oh, you think you're tough, SA?
Hmm.
Like you think you're that? Like, okay, cool, like that, like this is a funny moment, or it's supposed to be a funny moment." But then the rest of the movie, Bob is just kind of aimless and,
Hmm.
you know, confused and scared, and that just never changes. There's never a moment where he really like stands up for himself. He's just moving along and getting helped along by other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he never does anything for himself. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely see that. I think it's a very odd choice that he's like the main guy, that we
Yeah.
follow him for most of this movie. Um, and the fact that, yeah, he doesn't really get to do a lot. He's kind of just going from point A to point B the whole movie because other people tell him to.
Hmm.
It's yeah, I mean, I see that. Um, as far as the other stuff, like it's not a movie about the revolution, It's post. This is post revolution. We lost.
Yeah, but that was kind of the movie. That was the movie that this was sold as.
I kind of going back to materialist. Like I I really have to distance myself, from that. Like I wasn't sold that. Like I mean, I was sold that, but like that's not anyone's fault except for marketing, If I mean this and that's something we're fighting. We're gonna have to fight over and over again as movies go on because we talked about it. How mad are we gonna get that the Hulk was never in Avengers Infinity War? He
Yeah,
was in the
sure.
trailers. Those
Sure.
guys tried to sue Marvel because he was in the trailers but never showed up in the movie, you
Yeah.
know? And I'm like, yeah, that's, salesman gotta sell, It sucks. And
True.
that's
Yeah.
disingenuous for sure, you
Yeah.
know? But yeah, like because I agree that like this movie wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I kind of feel like I'm not sure what to expect from this movie because all the trailers were felt kind of lacking. No, maybe not maybe lacking is not the right word. But like every trailer seemed like a teaser trailer. Like they
Hmm.
never really told me what I was going to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. So I don't know. So maybe I wasn't actually sold on this story about Revolution. That's kind of just what I thought it would be. So I don't know. But uh yeah, I think there's a lot of when you look at the history of a lot of these uh some people will call revolutionary groups, other people will call them terrorists,
Hmm.
you know. Others are just rich kids with guns, like there's so many different examples you can use. It's all very just dirty, you know? Like
Hmm.
I at best to be realistic, I did like how every single character ratted someone else out in this movie. Anyone who gets
Hmm.
caught, and I'm like, because to me, that felt real. I was like, yeah, man, like it's only the movies where you have like these heroes who are like, no, I'm gonna die for the cause,
Yeah.
Uh, you're the gun down or you rat, and that's what we saw from this movie. So I thought that was seemed very realistic. I was like, okay, so I'm kind of glad they stuck to the guns, like even like all the characters.
Hmm.
you know we never see what happens to Sensei Sergio, but yeah, so I think it kind of broke down like that kind of idea of what this revolution was, and this is post. And I agree. It kind of is really interesting to see Bob as this character who's down for the cause, and then once we time jump a little bit, I don't know, he's just like this racist stoner guy. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, who's
Yeah.
super paranoid. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, man. Like, that's what happens to people who are out on the fringe. Like, I've had the opportunity to meet and talk with some amazing, just awesome hippies. You know, guys who, I don't know, maybe they're part of a revolution or whatever, or some kind of group like that, who definitely did time for their protest,
Hmm.
and still to this day, in their later years of life, they're still like the coolest hippie people ever. But just listen to their stories, you're like, oh man, you definitely see how people of that era, I don't even know if that's boomers, maybe even older. Like, I feel like they're older than like our parents' generation. You
Mm.
know, I'm talking about like
Yeah.
the people who were young and protesting Vietnam in
Hmm.
that era, you know? Like, you hear how some of them kind of went in the opposite direction. They didn't they went a little more violent, and it's just like
Mm.
it's a nasty business, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this movie just felt dirty. It felt nasty to me. Like, this isn't what we typically see from like a quote unquote Hollywood movie about freedom fighters and all this stuff. It felt like there was no propaganda in this. You know, either for or against whatever's being fought for.
Hmm.
It just felt like it was about the people, and yeah, I mean, I agree. It doesn't feel like it was done as well. It wasn't as well thought out as maybe it hoped it was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, because again, if you're saying that, like, there's no, it doesn't, there's no propaganda, it's like, well,
mhm,
there is propaganda, but it's also not it's trying to do its best to be like bipartisan. It'd be like, man, look at the US military. Look, they'll throw in, a soldier dressed up as a protester to start the violent revolution.
mhm,
It's like, sure, we have a precedent for that. On the opposite side, you have Perfidia, kind of like losing herself, to the idea that like violence is the only way to change things, and she gets consumed by that so much that, like, well, she kills somebody,
mhm,
when it doesn't look like the French 75 ever killed anybody,
mhm.
before, but now she does, and that's what sets in motion like the rest of the movie, like her ratting everybody out, all of that. So it's like, okay, like, so it is trying to like do like, well, both sides are kind of bad,
Mhm.
uh but at that same time, it you know it again, like, we don't know what the French 75 were rebelling against to begin with, you
Mhm.
know? So that's kind of weird. Pynchon's book is about like the war on drugs. And so
Mhm.
his revolutionary groups are about like the war on drugs, like again, like Reagan era. So to
Mhm.
remove that, it's like, okay, well then what are these people rebelling against? Well, we don't know. So then what does Bob
Yeah.
stand for? Well, we don't know. It's yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. Like, I just find it so odd that, like, okay, fine. Maybe this movie, maybe we shouldn't look at, like the trailer for the movie or how it was sold. But
Mhm.
the idea everybody was talking about after this movie was over was just how like incendiary this movie was, and how like, oh man, like this movie's so like overtly political and all that. And then you dig into the politics and it's like, but what is it saying? It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
saying anything.
Yeah.
If anything, it's saying that there's a secret conspiracy group of of Christmas fascists. All
Mhm.
right. There's some Kris Kringle obsessed Nazis that are
Mhm.
secretly running the world and have key members in every single
Mhm.
business in the military and all of these different things, and they're only obsessed with racial purity. It's like,
Mhm.
those groups do exist, so sure, maybe there's a Christmas themed one that actually exists. I don't know if this is a real group or not,
Mhm.
but then it's like, okay, well then what really happened in the movie? You know, a
Yeah.
fascist was killed by other fascists, you know, and then a burnout, you know, revolutionary finally found the courage to get an iPhone. and that's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the movie, you know? It's like it's
Yeah.
such a yeah, so it's like yes, again, like
I
there's a talent here, there are great performances, but I'm just confused as to like what are we doing here?
yeah, I think it's trying to be a commentary on just extremists in general.
Yeah.
Like because you're right, it is it's like it's what's the word? It's like a critical view on both sides. You know, we're never
Yeah.
supposed to root for Lockjaw or these Christmas Nazis.
Hmm.
Uh, the reason we root for Bob is because we want him to get to what's her name? Charlene?
Yeah, Charlene.
Yeah. And
Oh, I'm sorry, Willa. Her name's Willa.
oh, Willa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Who's Charlene? Don't they
Oh,
call her that's her real
oh,
name, right?
cause that's yeah, cause that's her, Willa is her real name. She's Charlene, and Bob is Pat,
Yeah, yeah,
cause they're
yeah.
in hiding. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah,
Um yeah, like I don't know. You know, I'm trying to explain my feelings, but I think the point is that like it didn't fully deliver its message, you
yeah.
know? Um I still enjoyed it. I still think maybe it could have been done better. I don't know. I think also the length had a big part of it as well. Like if you cut some things down and you only focus on other aspects, maybe they could have explained it more. I think I'm okay with not knowing what they were fighting for because to me that wasn't the point. The point is that they lost. You know, and this is the story of what happens afterwards, you know? Because also
Yeah.
I kind of feel like if they make the point of what they're fighting for, it's kind of hard to not paint them as like heroes. And I don't think we're ever supposed to feel like they were heroes, you know? Um, I don't want to say like, you know what? Perfidia was right, you know? You
Hmm.
know, like I see where she's coming from. You know, I think the point of this story in particular is that she chose the revolution over her family.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of the in a way it seems like an easy out. You know,
Hmm.
we don't have to get political, you know. And and honestly, I feel like it's not really this movie isn't really as political as everyone was talking about because it's so vague. You know,
Yeah.
there's definitely politics involved for sure.
Hmm.
Uh but
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's not outwardly stating like, you know, we're for or against this thing, you know,
yeah.
but I liked your point how it's showing how extreme technically both sides are. You
Hmm.
know, even though for the bulk of the movie, the extremism is coming from, you know, Lockjaw and the military. You know, again, like
Right.
they have the cops, you know, on their back, like in the streets. Like the soldiers are moving into buildings. You know, they're raiding people's homes, you
Hmm.
know, and you know, again, like they have an undercover op, you know, running into the crowd of protesters,
Hmm.
and he's the one that, you know, throws the cocktail and like incites like whatever riot is happening. So it's like, so again, like these are political images, this is a political message,
Hmm.
but we're not saying really anything about it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
like that all is the backdrop to whatever the rest of the story is,
Hmm.
you know. So yeah, I guess it is just weird that like so many people came away from this being like this so incendiary, you know, all this stuff, like, and you know, like I don't you know, I don't ever really like to talk about, you know, like, oh well, like MAGA was over here saying like this movie's bad, like this is, you know, this is what the left wants, blah blah blah. It's just
Yeah.
like one, because I don't care, like because I know you guys aren't actually watching the movie, or you're watching the
Right.
movie with that bias, you know, you know, going into it.
Hmm.
But on the other hand, you know, you have Hollywood propping up this movie as it's just like this is such a relevant movie, you know, it's such a huge political statement, and it's just like it's a political statement that says nothing, you know?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
it's as weak as paper.
Mm,
And in my mind, and like and maybe this is just me being upset, that like yeah, like I'm as much as I love movies, I'm not ever probably gonna find one or see one that is, that is like the start of the revolution, that is gonna say that like, hey, no, like this is the movie that ignites the fire, blah blah blah, whatever. But
hmm.
it like it's weird because I feel like it was sold that way, and then that's how people talked about it. It's like it's so
Yeah.
relevant and so important. I'm just like, but it's not saying anything of relevance,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And
I
and
don't.
and yeah, I'm yeah, it was the immigration of it all. It was the fact that like we're showing, these people, their plight. We're showing them like having to leave their homes because of the
Mhm.
military, because of all this stuff. And that is just a byproduct of, this one guy's obsession with finding his, who turns out to be his real daughter.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of the movie, so it's like other people are suffering because of, a crazed lunatic in power. So
Yeah. It definitely feels like a mix mash of ideas.
yeah,
Would
which
this
could work,
movie could this movie have been better if Lockjaw wasn't such a cartoonish villain? You
hmm
know, or maybe if it was less personal, maybe like
hmm Or
uh
even if he was like that's also not my issue. My issue is just that like this movie doesn't say anything at the end, you know?
yeah, I mean, I agree completely. I'm kind of coming from it from the perspective of like, does it matter? You know, I think what's odd is that it comes specifically from. It is very much like Bob's movie, but at the same
Yeah.
time, the daughter's going off at the end. He's like, "Be safe." She's like, "I won't." And I'm
hmm
like, I kind of feel like life goes on, man. Like the circle keeps going, you know.
Yes,
Um,
yeah, sure, but again,
so
it's like so a Gen X burnout, is like that was kind of the thing. It's like he's pulled through the movie solely off of his reputation as like this
yeah,
this hero of the revolution. But he's not a hero.
no, yeah,
He's
he's
losing the
not.
codes, all this stuff, and like
Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine if he's not actually a hero. But what the end of the movie signifies is that like, and kind of through the rest of the movie, it's like look at how many badass like black women we have in this movie, you
hmm,
know, and then we have Bob,
hmm,
and so it's like and truly like that's kind of the message of the movie. It's like this burnout is being carried by the liberations of these black and brown people,
hmm,
and then throughout the movie he's Sensei Sergio is helping him. You got the badass skateboarders helping
yeah,
him, all these guys. He even asked the two fruit vendors, it's like, hey, did you see a car go by? Like he's being helped by these people of color, and at the end it's like he didn't change. That didn't change his
yeah,
mind on anything. It's just like, okay, the revolution will go on, but even then, Bob's not going to lift a finger to help it. He lets his daughter go, I guess,
yeah.
is the
I
biggest
mean,
signifier of
I
change.
guess what we're running into is like, to me, that's a very like a realistic depiction, of this specific like scenario. I'm like, yeah, I definitely see this happening.
Mm,
Um, the problem is this is kind of butting up against the way we've been trained to uh either, consume movies or consume stories in general. It's
hmm
just like, what why this guy? Why are we following this story? Instead of just taking in the story for what it is, which even then, I don't know. Like maybe it would have been better if, he wasn't the lead and it did focus more on the others. Like I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You
Yeah.
know, I want to say, it feels realistic. I don't know if that's an excuse, you know?
Hmm.
but I'm okay with not. I don't think every movie or every story needs to have uh um a message. I think a lot of times if the journey, if the ride is well had, then that was your experience, you know?
Mm.
And that's subjective. That's a that's for everyone. For me, I enjoyed it. I never I'll consider Bob a hero just because he's going to such lengths to get his daughter. Realistically, does he ever really do anything? He's like, not really, but he's still going through the motion. He's trying, you know. He
Yeah.
may not be very good at it, but he's trying. So I don't know. It's a tricky one because I'm reminded of the lead from The Wailing, and it's just
Mm.
like, okay, very similar in
Hmm.
the fact of like he's just like this kind of bumbling idiot, except that kind of played it more for comedy, a little
Yeah.
more comedic. And I don't know, maybe that's how they were trying to humanize him, but then it's just like it just goes so off the rails and
Yeah. At a
yeah,
certain
I'm like,
point, it's like you're too inept of a person for then for me to
right.
then be like, well, then why are we following you?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
like why
Whereas
are
Bob,
you
on
the
the other
person,
hand, he had everyone else around him who was helping him.
Hmm.
And it's
And to
just
his
like,
credit, he had a role, he's the rocket man, he's the one who gets all the rockets, and he
yeah.
is a member of the revolution. And so it's like, okay, that's
I
cool. Like
think
I can understand that. And even to a point, I'll concede that like him becoming this kind of a loser burnout, like that does kind of fit, the narrative. It's just like you said, like they lost. That's the thing in the movie. Like these people lost. And yeah, so having Bob be that kind of a character was okay with me. It was just that like there's no growth for him, I think that's my issue, is that there is no growth.
yeah, yeah. Uh, like I have my feelings and I don't know how that translates to the movie.
Mm,
Like are these the feelings of Paul Thomas Anderson, or am I just trying to fill in the gaps that he left, you
yeah.
know? Because I'm coming at it from a perspective of like, well, what if he doesn't have any growth? What's he going to do? He has an iPhone now. Is his growth he's going to start posting reels on Instagram of things he doesn't agree with, or that's his form of protest. That's it.
Mm,
He used
yeah.
to be the bomb guy. He used to be this revolutionary. Now he just reposts. Because I think a lot of us are in that position where it's just like, well, I feel like that's my contribution to the world. I'm going to
Mm,
repost this. And that's a very nasty feeling.
yeah.
And that's a feeling I get watching this movie. It's just like, oh man, like it 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 doesn't feel like it's cool to see like all those nuns with machine guns and stuff like that, but it always feels a little extra. Like I think also we don't really have a public group right now like the French 77 uh operating like that is
Hmm.
dominated in news and stuff like that. If they're out there, they're very quiet. They're certainly not showing up on the news. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Bob's story could have been, because what's the alternative? Like, do we want to see Bob at the end say, you know what, I'm gonna go to the protest with you? Like I thought maybe he would say, I'll drive. That's what I was kind of hoping.
Yeah.
But the fact that he doesn't, I was like, okay. He's still burnt out. It's just he's burnout on a phone now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we live in a world where this could have easily been a movie where there was too much messaging.
Mm, yeah.
You know? Um it's you got to walk that line because you don't want to be like the after school message, after school special, and be like, here's what I believe, you know.
Sure,
But
sure.
this is almost too far on the opposite side,
Hmm.
where I won't say it's as far as that movie Eddington, where like they really go to great lengths to be on both sides, and
Mm.
that movie says absolutely nothing. You know, I'm just
Hmm.
like, okay, especially in regards to the actual arguments and the what do you call it? I guess like the counter arguments,
Mm.
you know, because there's so many things. There's so many examples of stuff where it's just like not in this movie. I'm just kind of speaking on Eddington and then all this other stuff of like when people get angry or debate, they'll say blah 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 blah. This is what I believe, and it's like okay, well,
Hmm.
what about all these other facts? These aren't
Yeah.
opinions. These are facts,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And movies like Eddington kind of gloss over that, you know, which in a way it's like, well, just like a lot of people. So I feel like this movie did have a lot to say. Not sure what it was, and I'm not sure they exactly said it.
Hmm.
They kind of tried to hide it in the story of a father and daughter.
Hmm.
But yeah, for what we got, I enjoyed it. Did this got Best Picture?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. But like, see, let's get Chase Infinity. Her, they will kill you. You know, let's
Yeah.
give her a sword and a movie.
Hell yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, man. Uh, to paraphrase Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight, you either die a hero
Hmm.
or you live long enough to become Bob.
Mm. Damn.
Damn.
Damn. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
So yeah, I was reading a lot of 5-star reviews on this movie on Letterboxd, and I don't agree with them. I think cinematically as a film, I was like, yeah, I can see what they're saying, but
Hmm.
again, I'm with you as far as like I wish it kind of had more of a through line as far as the messaging. You know,
Yeah.
I wish this was more of a critique on the post revolution and what do you do afterwards? You know, after you
Yeah.
lost, you know, instead of just kind of like this meandering stream of consciousness that this movie
Hmm.
is. So,
Which, that's Pynchon's whole thing, at least from what I read. I haven't read a lot of Thomas Pynchon, but I
mhm.
read at least one of his books back in college. And and yeah, it was a lesson about like stream of consciousness and like this is how you write a novel, stream of consciousness. And
Oh wow.
I wasn't into it,
Yeah.
and I'm still not into it. So, I'm maybe like I have a small axe to grind against that, but uh yeah, I, f- I forgot what you said. I just wanted to talk about that. Like I haven't, yeah, and
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. Maybe I'm coming off as very, just like, oh man, Sam's real fired up about this movie. It's like I think it was just that, I was expecting something. I was expecting something, and then what I got was kind of the reversal.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's like I am disappointed.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot of great acting in this, some great performances. Yeah, cinematically, I think it looks very well, yeah, it's just
Hmm.
long. I didn't like,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think I
We know
honestly
what I didn't like at this
I
point.
really believe if this movie wasn't as long, I think the issues wouldn't be as in our face, you
Yeah,
know?
truly.
Um and just to kind of to sum it all up, I think there is a place for movies like this. Movies that um I'm not going to say that they don't want to take a side, but movies that kind of want to portray us
They want to
tell
have it
us
all,
no, like movies where like they want to tell a story that addresses both sides without picking a side, and they want to focus on the people. And like I think that's a very good idea to do,
Mm,
especially um because in my mind you want to tell stories in the perfect world, you want to make a movie that's going to get someone to change their mind, you know,
Hmm.
or at least to start using their mind and questioning. And I like, I think in order to do that, you have to take that approach of like not taking a side, or if you do, don't make it as really evident, but you focus on the people and you focus on the characters.
Hmm.
I feel like that's how it's done. So I do think there's a spot in cinema, in genre for something like that. I don't think this movie really accomplishes that, but I don't know if that was its intention either. You
Mm.
know, which is just going to be a commentary on both sides. But I'm kind of hesitant to say that that's what this movie wanted to do because it focuses so much just on the people in the mess, in the muck of it. You know, just like we're just
Sure.
people trying, you know, and I want to see more of that. If there's anything from this movie I want to see more of, it's that. Just the people, you know, dude, I want a sequel, just Sensei Sergio. I want to see his story, you know? But
Yeah.
like he's so cool and chill and relaxed. I don't know if he could be the protagonist.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, because again, I think that was the strongest part of the movie because it was so intense and you see and I feel like not that everything else isn't relevant, but like we're seeing that every day, you know?
Hmm.
And it's just like, oh my God. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll just have to wait for someone to do it better.
There you
Yeah. Maybe it'll be next week when we watch the next movie. Who
go.
knows?
Who knows?
Let's roll for it. It's gonna be really funny to see. It's gonna be like a Toy Story or something.
Right. Right. All right. Let's see.
All right, let me get my list.
All right. So let's do seven.
Hmm. All right.
Uh-oh.
This is
If you thought this episode was incendiary, wait until next week.
no. I don't think this is a controversial movie at all.
Oh, okay.
The director, on the other hand,
Oh
might
no.
be.
It's not Ooh Ball, is it?
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
We're
we're
watching
watching
Citizen
Citizen Vigilante,
Vigilante.
Maga's favorite movie. Get
Dude,
bent, go to hell.
It's bad when even
Jeez.
Army Hammer is against it. Did you hear about that?
I heard. Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
He's
dude, you
like,
didn't know
he's
who you
like,
signed up with?
he's like, oh man, I messed up. Okay, so you can watch this on Tubi. This
Okay.
is a movie I've been wanting to watch for the longest time.
Okay.
I haven't seen it. I don't know why, but we were watching 1998's dark cult classic, Dark City.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I've been waiting for this
Dang.
one for a while.
Okay. Not controversial movie. Controversial director though, now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but okay, interesting.
I know
I'm
there's a
curious
director's cut,
I'm
but
curious what cut is on Tubi because I have the director's cut on
oh,
DVD.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, but everyone, we're watching Dark City next week. Again, you could
Solid.
it's free on Tubi, but we do know there's a director's cut out there, so if we can find it, if I can find it, then that's the version I'm watching.
Okay.
Um yeah, I've been looking forward to this. But yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe it'll be a happy fun time. A more fun movie than this one was. But yeah, everyone, if you let us know your thoughts on One Battle After Another and Dark City, hit us
Hmm.
up at Lost Legacies Podcast at gmail.com.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
yeah, shout out to Dan who I think when his episode dropped, he promoted it a little bit on his Instagram and stuff like that, and we got
Yeah.
a nice little bump in viewers. You know, he has some friends who are watching. So
Yeah.
shout out to Dan, and also now we're getting a lot of spam addressed to Dan.
Oh no.
It's like, hey Dan, would you like to get 30,000 more followers or whatever? I'm like, oh my god.
We'll just forward it to him. You just like, here you
I'll
go.
send it to him. Here you go, Dan, just in case you were wondering. Yeah. But everyone, thank you for joining us. Dark City. Until then,
Get
get
lost.
lost.